Anyone can be a lawyer. Don't limit yourself. Anyone can be a lawyer.
I wish that someone would have looked at me and said, you can be a lawyer.
Anybody can be a lawyer. What I would say is this: you do not let anybody define your worth. You do not let anybody define your destiny. You do not let anybody define your success.
I went to Ruskin High School in South Kansas City. My mom stayed at home and my dad was an electrician. When I was in high school, my parents went through a pretty messy divorce, and throughout that process, I became involved with the legal system, not necessarily in the best way that you'd want to, but one thing that I did see from it is that the only calm people in the room were the attorneys and the judge.
Well, I went to Sumner Academy of Arts and Sciences, that is in Kansas City, Kansas. Really, really strong focus on academics. I wasn't a rock star student, valedictorian, but I wasn't a slouch either. I think when I got to college, I appreciated it more than when I was actually in high school.
High school is one of the most important times for people to develop, to learn skills, and to just enjoy life.
I didn't necessarily think that I could be a lawyer, but I thought I could be in the legal field. I graduated from undergrad and started at Legal Aid as a paralegal, and that's when I really thought I want to be a lawyer.
Professor Peck, he would come into the gym all the time where I worked, and he would always see me reading books. And one day, Professor Peck came up to me and he said, "You read a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He was like, "You should consider law school." And honestly, that was the spark that kind of made me actually think about it. And then, 3 years later, I'm graduating.
In high school, I went to an event and I met an attorney for the first time. They teamed me up with Carol Coe. We went to a trial. It was the first trial I ever saw. And I thought, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. When I saw that woman in court, I said, I can do that. And that's when I decided I wanted to go into law.
Do you have an uncle that's a judge? Do you have an aunt that's a lawyer? Do you have someone in your family that's a doctor? If you don't have those mentors around you to see that it's even possible, then it's somewhat hard as a kid to even imagine that these different outlets or as far as career paths are even possible.
It is important to find a support system. You can't do it by yourself. You are not an island. And the people that you don't expect to support you will step up and support you as long as you're a genuine individual and they respect you and they like you. If I hadn't been for my debate coach, I may not have ended up in college. And so it's very important to develop friendships, develop relationships, get involved in organizations, and find mentors early.
You just have to want more. There was a point where I knew that I did not want to continue in the path that I was on and in the life that I was in, and that I needed more. We didn't have any money. So if you don't have any money, how are you going to go to 7 years of school? The way that I dealt with that is by an undergrad, got a job at the housing department, and I worked at the dorm, basically allowed me to get free room and board. And so when I went into law school, I only had 3 years of loans versus the 7, but it still was a lot, and it took a long time to pay them off, but eventually you do. There's lots of programs out there that can help you with that, so I wouldn't let financial be the obstacle that keeps you from your dream.
You can do it. Don't take sex, age, race, where you're from, socioeconomics. Doesn't matter. You can become a lawyer.
You can be 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 a lawyer or a judge.